Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
And, of course, there is this story of a pastor who got up one Sunday at his church and announced to his congregation, I have good news, and I have some bad news. The good news is we have enough money to pay for our new building program. The bad news is it's still out there in your pockets. Good morning, everybody. I'm Zeb Bell. Here comes Kate Smith, and God bless America. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning on a Thursday. Nice looking day outside today. Welcome to Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And along with some of our great folks that are advertisers like Lee's Furniture, Floors, and more, and also Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Good morning. Right now, a lovely lady that, along with another lovely lady, filled in for me yesterday, Gina Jameson and Sharon Hardy Mills. Good morning, my dear.
Well, good morning, sunshine. Glad to have you back on this fine Thursday.
Nice to be back, too. I was hoping I didn't have to stay in Salt Lake, and, well, hopes came to fruition.
Well, and so you had a safe trip home?
A quick one.
Well, as long as it was quick and you made it home safely and all in one piece, hey.
We did, and I really want to say how much I appreciate it. I didn't really appreciate until yesterday the increase in the speed limit.
It's kind of handy every once in a while now, isn't it?
It was yesterday, and when I passed some of the Super State Patrol agents that were waiting out in the hinterland, I looked at my speed gauge, and I looked at them and thought, aha, I have no fear.
Do you use cruise control?
Yeah, buddy.
I have a lead foot, and so I have to use cruise control, or guaranteed I'm going to be going faster than what I need to be.
Well, see, we changed vehicles. We got rid of the old red Chevy. Okay. Which was the best car in the world for us, but I just had trouble getting in and out of it. And we changed vehicles, and this was the acid test yesterday to see how it would cruise maybe inches above the ground.
And? It
cruised very well inches above the ground.
Cruising at a low altitude.
It did. I called the tower and I said, "This is Flight 732, Zeb Bell, asking for clearance to land."
Clearance is granted, Zeb Bell. Clearance is granted.
And land we did.
Perfect.
I love it. Anyway, do we have a pledger?
Me or you?
You always do a good job. Go ahead.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So well done. Now we're going to go to the weather, and the weather's brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 678-6945, and look for their blue door. Oh, my goodness sakes. You better get on in there. And by the way, here's a little tip for you. When hanging panel curtains, hang them as close to the ceiling as possible and wide enough that they cover the least amount of the window as possible when they are open. Hey, that makes sense. It helps create height and the illusion of a larger window. Oh, there you go. There's a tip for you from Cheney Flooring and Home Design. 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley, 678-6945. Look for their blue door. And now here's the weather.
Well, we're looking at a pretty nice day today. Mostly sunny skies. Going to be slightly breezy. Winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Expect a high of 35 for today. Tonight, some more clouds could possibly be moving in, but some clearing out after midnight. Low right near 24. Tomorrow, as we get ready to kick off the weekend, going to be pretty nice. Partly cloudy skies, high of 34 with an overnight low of 25. And for Saturday, Saturday's going to be nice. Partly cloudy skies, high near 40. Currently sitting at 17 degrees.
Doesn't she do a nice job? Good job.
Thank you.
Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley, and they've got lots and lots of refurbished furniture over there. Look for the blue door, Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Hey, we got to sell some cattle. Merv May, get on in here.
All right, get the steer calves. They're here to get all their 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, and 32, 2.5, 3.5.
That's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call the office, 678-9411. Merv May, Cade, Rogge, and Lance Udy serving you. And sale time, 10 o'clock. Here's a partial list of some of the great big run they're going to have today. Lynn Shoddy of Rupert's bringing in 50 head of 700-pound steers. Good cattle. Spackman Ranch over at Park Valley. Hello up there in Park Valley, 40 head of calves. Glenn Shank in Rupert, 26 head of calves. Tim Munns, holy cow, Tim Munns from out at Hansel Valley, and he's bringing in 55 head of calves. Somebody hit him up and tell him to buy you lunch, for heaven's sakes. He's got all the money. Casey Bartholomew over to Filer bringing in 15 head of calves. Clay Blanthorne at Grouse Creek, 30 head of calves. And Lincoln Driscoll, know him and his family up at Aberdeen, 35 head of 600-pounders. And they're going to have some butcher cows coming in from the Ward Dairy, Moo Mountain Dairy, and TLK Dairy over to Mountain Home. Sale time, 10 o'clock at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. For more questions or answers, call 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, get the steer calves. They're here to get all their 31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, and 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, and 5.5, 135, 50, 135, and $7.35. Zeb Bell, get bottom again.
All righty. Hey, Gina, we've got a birthday boy in the audience tomorrow, and we won't be on the air tomorrow, naturally being Friday, but he is really getting old. He's decrepit. He's absolutely an antique.
Are we talking about Al?
No. Well, that's an antique. That's believe me. What can you say about that antique? But anyway, this happens to be Kilt Man. Remember him?
Oh yes, Jeff.
He is going to be 59 years old tomorrow.
Ooh,
59, and he just had a surgery on his arm, and he's milking that for all he can to get all the sympathy. And his wife, Lori, I feel so sorry for her, having to go around and help put his shoesies on and everything. He's going to be 59 years old tomorrow, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Kilt Man.
There you go, Kilt Man. He's an old man.
He's vintage.
I like that.
I do too.
Yeah, vintage. Now, I'm going to have to remember that. I'm going to write that down. From now on old fogies, they're vintage.
Yes.
Okay. By the way, we had a trip to Salt Lake yesterday, as you may or may not know. And again, my thanks go out to Sharon and Gina and for filling in. And this is not the easiest program to fill in on because of all the different segments and everything. So thank you very much. Okay, Valley White Home and Ranch. By golly, you better stop in there today at 910 South Oneida in Rupert and see Mandy and Sean and the whole crew. Let me tell you, they've got something so special. I had a call the other day and they said, "Are you kidding me?" No, I'm not. You can receive a 10% off card that's good for the rest of the year on all your fishing needs if you go in and mention my name. Yep, Zeb sent me. Hey, here's your card. And for those that like to fish, that could save you a lot of money. And they've also got all the fishing and hunting licenses over there. And we're going to get hit again, the weatherman's saying, maybe in about 6-7 days with another big cold snap. So they've got all your cold winter needs right there at Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. You stop in and see them today. Oh, by the way, and with the cold snap that might be on the way, maybe towards the middle portion of next week, look out, Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley is saying, you better treat your furnace to a new, clean, really good, high-quality air filter. So when your toesies hit that floor in the morning, you're not going, oh, you're just going to be nice and warm. So stop in and get a package or maybe even one of the quality air filters, whatever you need, at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Okay? By the way, oh, we have a caller. I heard the cow. Good morning, you're on the air.
You're still older than I am.
Yeah, but I'm better preserved. How are you, Kilt Man? What's that?
I say that means you got a thicker crust.
I've used formaldehyde, and I'm better preserved.
Okay.
Well, I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday.
On my last bit, so you fudged.
All right. Well, listen, happy birthday from our house to yours.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you, Kilt Man.
Bye.
You're a good guy. Thanks. By the way, you probably won't hear a lot of this or anything about this story. Really, when you go through the channels on the networks, whether it's CBS, ABC, CBS, whatever, you probably are not going to hear a lot about the Department of Justice and what they found out about the Ferguson case with the shooting and Officer Wilson. Oh, you know what? No charges. There were no civil rights violations. Nada. Nothing against Officer Wilson. But, have you heard Attorney General Eric Holder get out and say, no charges, everything's okay with the officer, etc.? Nope. Have you heard the filthiest of the vile, Al Sharpton, say, you know what, they did it right in Ferguson after all? Nope. Has anyone or anybody, think about this, said anything about Officer Wilson and his lost, gone career as a police officer, or how he's going to get his life back together again? Nope. Nobody. Isn't that sick? Isn't that sick? You know, Attorney General Holder, I'm going to investigate, we're going to go in and we're going to check on police brutality and we're going to check on racism and everything else. And then Al Sharpton condemning and damning everybody in Ferguson. Why, it's all racist, etc. And I'm going to pursue this and I'm going to go after the officer. Nothing. Which really, really lays on the table, face up, the cards. This kid, this punk, created the problem, caused the problem, exacerbated the problem, and was shot. The officer, innocent. The police in Ferguson, innocent. And all the rioting and the looting and the absolute acting like animals, uncalled for, because of the filthy, vile nature of Al Sharpton and others. Isn't it disgusting? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Barry Equipment and Rental, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Barry Equipment and Rental, Eli, Nick, and the whole crew, they have the equipment to do any job and do it right. That's right. I'm serious. Now, all you have to do is contact Nick and Eli for your Doosan loaders, 0% financing, and great lease options. Let me tell you something. They've got all the equipment you need. And they've got 3 locations, too. Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls, South Lincoln in Jerome, and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Remember, for retail equipment sales, equipment rentals, and parts and service, the best. Barry Equipment and Rental, Twin Falls, Jerome, and Burley. Absolutely. Hey, guess where we're going to be at noon today? 11:30, actually. We're going to be at Lunch Bunch, and we're certainly hoping that Gina can join us today at Lunch Bunch, and Denny's Restaurant is our host at 611 Oberlin and Burley, and we'll try to get there at 11:30. Vroom, vroom, we'll fly a couple inches off the ground. And we've got lots of gift cards to give away from Walmart, Smith's Food King, and Hanson Mortuary. Thank you very much for your involvement every month, and you're just going to love it. If you haven't been to Lunch Bunch, come on down and join us at 11:30 at Denny's Restaurant, 611 Oberlin and Burley, the best of breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Denny's Restaurant. And they also have a brand new location at 291 Pole Line in Twin Falls. Great eating at Denny's Restaurant. Did I hear the moo of that cow, Gina? I'm sorry.
Yes, you did.
I did. Okay, so that's a good sign. Good morning, you're on the air.
Yeah, it's the beller of the bull.
Hello, you old barnyard bull.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah.
I got a 100% clean record now on my medical, so there.
Oh, well, God bless you, and I mean that. You're one of my dearest friends. I wish you all the best.
I'm just one of the ones you pick on the best.
Oh, well, you're like a pimple.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Anyway, everything's okay?
We'll talk about it later. I don't want to talk about it now. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll keep you together with baling wire and duct tape.
Duct tape is honestly the greatest invention known to mankind. I do not know what I would do without duct tape. It's held up some of the posts in my arena. It's held together my boxes in my roping area. And whoever invented duct tape, Gina, if you have a minute, check that out and see who invented duct tape. I want to have a special day for him so that we can salute that person.
Well, I'll see you at lunch bunch, and I'll be careful I don't shut the alarm off.
Yeah, in other words, don't put your big butt up against the door.
Well, that's right.
Okay, thanks, Al. God bless. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
How are you this morning?
I'm good, Dal. What's going on?
I thought Eric Holder resigned.
He what?
Well, I thought I heard that he had resigned, but I can't remember the effective date.
Yeah, it's like a jar of pickles. You know, you can still eat them for a while, but then eventually you got to throw them away.
Well, I just wished he'd get out of there.
Well, I've got an opposite wish. I just wished he'd never been there in the first place, but that's wishful thinking.
Okay.
All right, my friend. God bless you. Good to hear from you.
Yep.
Thank you. Calls welcome 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Oh, I got to share this with you. I've got to share this with you. And here's another story that you probably won't hear on the network news. Remember the State of the Union message the other night? Oh, it was so eloquent and so great in delivery by the president. Oh, yes. And, of course, I sound a little melodramatic here, but we have to play this up. Remember the part of the Union speech where he talked about Rebecca and Ben Storer from Minnesota. Oh, it was a moving story. A little violin music in the background, if we please. They got married. Life was good. Then economic tragedy struck them. Oh, woe is they. Woe are those people in Minnesota. But they battled back. And they battled back with the great American courage. And thanks to Obama's great recession-saving measures, they overcame drastic economic woes, and today they are financially healed. Ta-da! Whoops, wait a minute. There's a little mistake here. We come to find out that little Rebecca from Storybook Farm, she was a prop. She was a prop. This woman that was sitting next to Mama Obama up in the audience, that they hailed as an American success, was a prop. She was a former Democratic staffer for Patty Murray, and she was an Obama activist. She and her family were fake about the stories and the phony ringers about tragedy and travesty. And Obama got away with it. He knew her. He had talked to her many times. But they said that they flew her in from Minnesota to show the great American spirit of perseverance. Oh my gosh. It was enough to choke you up, or whatever. But it was all fake and phony. And the American public bought right into it as part of Obama's State of the Union address. Wow. Don't you just... This man, this Obama, and what he does and has done to this country, I just detest him and his ideology and his administration. Oh, anyhow, I got to straighten up here for a second. Don't forget Scouts CarQuest Centers. Customer satisfaction is the goal. They care and they work very, very hard to provide excellent service that you've grown to expect since way back in 1949. Every detail matters at Scouts CarQuest, where you can find all your automotive replacement products, accessories, and supplies for virtually every vehicle. I'm not kidding you. They got the likes of Jeff Poole. That guy is such a hard worker, so diligent, and all the good people. They've got great people working at all three locations. 518 Overland and Burley, 323 East 8th and Highway 25 in Rupert, and exit 211, I-84, their big truck depot. You better believe it. What a team! Scouts, CarQuest, and excellence. Every detail matters. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Yes, sir.
That young lady from Minnesota.
Yeah.
That plant.
Oh, yeah.
Fake.
Yeah.
Well, she just fits right in with the Obama administration.
Isn't it pathetic? You know, I mean, like, the story was such a tearjerker about how they overcame adversity, how they fought back against tough economic... That's a bunch of malarkey.
It is. It is, and like I say, you know, I don't know how he thinks he can pull the wool over everybody's eyes. The only way he gets away with it is because the mainstream media is in his back pocket.
Or someplace else.
We won't go there on public radio.
Nope.
It's disgusting. And I mean, when he says stuff, you know, like that amnesty, over 24, 25 times he said he doesn't have the power to do it, he can't do it.
Yeah.
He does it.
Let me ask you a question, and I'm going to ask this of a lot of people in the next 30 minutes after I get done with this next break at the bottom of the hour, but you can answer it first. I paid for my education, my higher education in college. I mean, I worked a couple of jobs while I was getting my degree, and I don't mind it. Not at all. I'm not bitter about it. I think it made me a better person to have to go out and earn my own money to go pay for my college education. Why is it that this president can stand up there and tout the benefits of giving someone a free education? The more you give free to people, the more they come to expect, and the more they're wannabes and never will be's, and the more that they got their hand out. This is repulsive to me.
It is. If you work for something, just as a for instance, say you wanted to buy a new car. So you work for it, you save for it, you go get it, you buy it. You will respect it, you will take care of it, you'll appreciate it a lot more than if, oh, I want a new car, so this guy gives you a brand new car.
There you go. And I'll tell you something else. The only people, and I mean this when I say this, the only people that I would really, as a class, a grouping of people, want to see have an education that's offered to them are military returning from serving our country, and those that have had devastating accidents that absolutely they can be trained, they can have an education to be very, very self-reliant on themselves. But as far as giving somebody that's 6'1" and walks around with a backpack on his back and smiles, hey man, what's happening? Give them a free education? Absolutely not.
I'm with you right there. And to do it, you know, to give the military an education, we're not giving them a free education. They've earned it.
Absolutely.
They fought for this country and they put their life on the line for this country. So Yes, I'm for giving them a free education. There should be no limit on their education.
All right. Well, listen, man, you were the first to answer it, so I appreciate it. Doug, God bless you. Have a good day. Thank you. Hey, we got to have a little break right here real quick, and then I'll take some more of your calls. I don't want to give anybody anything free. No, I don't, especially in education. I already stipulated how I would give that out as possible free educations. But no, Obama standing up there the other night, it just made me sick. And that's what he touted at Boise State University, too. Free education. Oh, yeah, it's going to help us in the world market and everything else. Wait a minute. I had to work for mine. I believe from every inch of me that Gina worked for hers, my son worked for his. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's have a little break here at Pacific Steel and Recycling, 320 West Main in Burley. Yes, sirree. They will meet or beat their competitor pricing, and they are the best, offering superior customer service with an employee-owned company. And they also carry trailer parts, and they sell new steel, too, angle iron, flat iron, tubing, channel, whatever. This is all going on at a great recycler, and that's Pacific Steel and Recycling, 320 West Main in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Here currently is the Ag Minute with Capital Press.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly.
A legal challenge against USDA restrictions on raisin sales will be reviewed by the U.S. Supreme Court, which could impact similar crop marketing orders. The court has agreed to reconsider a California grower's lawsuit that alleges federal controls over raisin sales amount to unconstitutional takings without just compensation. Under the marketing order for California raisins, a certain portion of a farmer's crop is diverted into a Federal Reserve pool, which is intended to limit the market supply of raisins and stabilize their price. Farmer Marvin Horn claims the scheme violates the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution because he must transfer ownership of his crop to USDA without being paid the fair market value. This is Brandon Tenner.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and capitalpress.com.
Brought to you by Pacific Steel and Recycling, 320 West Main in Burley. Wonderful folks. You stop in and see them today. 678-2321. You know, a lot of people probably out in the audience are going, especially the liberals or liberal bent people, well, I think that's great. Why? The president's going to come up with $60 billion for free education. There's nothing free, my dear friends. We are going to pay for it. Are we going to pay for it? And all it is, here's the bottom line, and if you don't agree with this, I'd like to hear your opinion. All this is another way to lump everybody together to buy more votes. Oh, gee, the Democrats gave us a free education. Let's vote for them. They got the free stuff. That's all it is. It's a way to buy votes. And I hope that the Crapos and the Rishes and everybody else stand up with some backbone and say, no. I'm very proud of my education. I'm very proud of the way I obtained my education. And I paid for it, bar none. Anybody that disputes that, I saved some of the check stubs from the stupid little miscellaneous nicky-picky jobs that I had in college. I even sold magazines over the phone. I mean, I hate to think about that, but I did. I did everything I could, and I paid for my own education, and I'm proud of it. Caller, stand by. I'll be right there. Don't go away. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, right behind Dr. Crane's office. Yes, you can find it easily. These folks are the best. Nick Greenwell, physical therapist, and his whole crew. They've got the best of sports medicine, all the exercises, all the hydrotherapy with that pool. They got the only pool in the area. What a great educated staff that will help you get back to feeling and being you. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Give them a call for an appointment today, 678-1191. We're going to have Nick on the air with us a little later this morning. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zam. Hey, I think you're right on the mark with your comments this morning. The old adage, the cream rises to the top, is true in so many different ways. And the same thing goes with education. The people that want it, strive for it, and earn it are better educated than those that are just given that and able to just coast along with everybody else.
What did we...
It's kind of a way to sift out those that really are able to attain that education from those that just don't really have the drive and desire to get it.
Absolutely. You know, let me ask you something real quick. How old are you, if I can be so rude?
Oh, about mid-50s.
All right, you're mid-50s, and you'll be very easy to answer this question. Do you think that today we are so much in a rut of pushing college? I personally have said on this program many, many times that the trade schools, we need more plumbers, we need more electricians, we need more people that can work with their hands. We need to rebuild America, and I mean that not only figuratively, but I mean it realistically. And just by promoting college to somebody, hey, here, come here, kid, bring your backpack, we'll give you a free college education. Isn't that the dumbest thing you ever heard in your life?
I think it waters down the whole system and it devalues the value of that diploma or degree.
I totally agree.
People that are graduating that can't even go out and use their diploma because there's 10,000 other people trying for the same job market.
Absolutely. Sir, thank you very much for calling. I really appreciate your remarks. Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. I agree with that. You know, when I went to college up at the University of Minnesota and to get my degree in broadcasting, I had to really, plan things out ahead of time as far as finding jobs and finding a place to live and trying to set my schedule up and everything so that I could do this job in the morning on certain mornings and I could do this other job starting at 4 o'clock in the afternoon other days, and really had to adhere to a schedule. Did it hurt me? Not in the least. Best doggone thing that ever happened. It taught me some responsibility and reliability to me. And to just give somebody an education, like I mentioned a minute ago. Hey, come here, kid, you want to go to college? Here, it's free. That's no value. And I, as a taxpayer, I'm really offended that the President of the United States would basically tell me as a taxpayer, hey, come on, things are different today. Why, poor Johnny and Susie, we've got to help them go to school, so you, Mr. Taxpayer, are going to pay for it. No, I don't want to. But I'll probably end up having to. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. What are your thoughts on this? Everybody's going to be affected. Oh, yeah. Everybody's going to be affected by this. Hey, by the way, I want to say congratulations. For some reason, I've got a little problem with my headsets this morning, and things don't sound really good. Let me ask Gina. She's good at that. Gina, how does everything sound coming down the pike this morning?
Sounds great to me.
I had kind of a power little...
Did you have a power bump?
A little bump or a fluster or whatever it was. I have other words for it. But anyway, now it's starting a little better. And there we go. Okay, but Minnecash Sales, we want to remind you about these folks. Oh my, Zach and Joanne and everybody. I am really impressed with their business and what they have. I mean, they've got all roll vinyl on sale starting at just $8.99. They've got the best of doors. They've got huge discounts on in-stock carpet. And do you know what? They are so diversified. They also carry farm and ranch equipment. They've got the very, very best of the Tartar Ranch and farm equipment. Oh, man, that's first-class stuff. And they've got all the waterers and the stock tanks and everything. All there at Minnecash Sales, 1321 East Main in Burley. And they are the major sponsor of Dr. History on Tuesdays. Thank you very much. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know my feelings about people that will sit there, and I have not very much use for these folks, and I have condemned them on the program many, many times. The anti-vaccination folks, yeah. You know my feelings about them. I think that they are a pimple on the face of society. Well, now 70 cases, 70 cases of very infectious measles from youngsters at Disneyland. Oh, this is just great. And it is very, very dangerous. I was listening to a doctor this morning, and he was talking about this mess. And it's very dangerous not only to young people, but it's very dangerous to us, the elderly. Well, there are those in the audience that are saying, "Oh, contraire, Zebel, we had a vaccination." Yeah, you did. Maybe 60 to 65 to 70 years ago. And now doctors are very, very concerned that the vaccine may have worn off. And thanks to the dense, dumb, and unknowing anti-vaccination zombies, they're putting other people at risk. You know my thoughts on vaccinations. You know my thoughts, whether it's the measles, whether it's rubella, whether it's whooping cough, whether it's the deadly polio virus. I am absolutely adamant that vaccination should be forced onto those in society. But now look, 70 cases of very infectious measles. And this could be and will be very devastating to many of the elderly if this thing gets way out of control. I'm just livid about this, and I will not change my attitude. You can call, write letters, you can call the ownership of the station. "Oh, we gotta get that guy off the air, he's condemning us anti-vaccination folks." Yes, I am, and I won't quit. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Hey, kudos to John Boehner. I never, ever on this program thought that I would say something like kudos to Speaker of the House John Boehner. I know those are words that do not easily come into my mouth and out through my lips. But he did something that I think is really good. He's defying Obama. He's defying the White House. And he's invited Israel's Netanyahu to speak before Congress. Oh, man. Are there some mad people? White House spokesman Josh Earnest, why, he looked like a human deodorant stick. He was really fuming when they talked about this. And but when push comes to shove, and some people call it a poke in the eye, and they said, "Well, you can't do this. Why, that's wrong, and you can't exceed presidential protocol." Yes, he can. And how dare the president and his staff yell foul after all the things and items, etc., with executive order that this president has said he would do? He'd step on anybody, basically, to get his way. So, here we go again. Kudos to Speaker of the House John Boehner for inviting Prime Minister of Israel Benjamin Netanyahu to speak in front of Congress. Hey, that's a good thing. Give me your calls, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, it's about time they did something to put a stop to this crap, because look what they've done to Israel these last 7 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's time that Boehner finally stood up and say, "Hey, mister, I'm the number 3 in line for the presidency, so let's pay attention to what's going on, and you knock off all this crap you've been doing against him."
You know, Al, I'm glad you called, because you're, and I say this out of all politeness, you're a news junkie that really understands what's going on. I know that you have heard about another story that really didn't make a lot of big press on the scene with the networks, but it was so disgusting, and I watched it on television with the video of the attacker from Palestine that was over on the streets in Israel, and it just went up and stabbed people on a bus, and then also ran up behind other people on the street as he was running away and stabbed women and men in the back, etc. And the terror group Hamas praised this individual for all of his efforts in trying to kill Israelis. Did you see that story?
I've seen part of it where he was running up the street stabbing people. But there again, we've, kowed out to them Palestinians. Oh, they're being mistreated and all that crap. Well, I'll tell you what. They've asked for it, and I say, Israel, go in there and stomp some hind ends and put a stop to it, because personally, I'm getting damn sick and tired of our money going over there for all this crap that they keep bringing around and say, well, it's our fault, it's our fault. It's not our fault. Only thing is, we like to stick a nose in sometimes where it don't belong.
Israel as our number one ally and friend, and for the way that they've been treated through this Obama administration, and the way that the Obama administration tries to dig kind of a moat with alligators around the politics with Israel and the politics on how they're treated, is disgusting, Al.
I know it, and I mean, they protected us and helped protect us for years. For hell's sake, let's get back to the basics and help take care of our good allies, because so far we're losing support from all over the United States and the world.
Well, Boehner invited him to come over, and it's not that far away. It's just a matter of weeks. On February 11th, that's when he wanted him to come speak in front of Congress. And I, for one, am going to really, really pay attention to all the newscasts and everything with the president and also the speaker, Josh Earnest, the White House spokesman. And I'm just going to really relish what's going on over this, because this is a power struggle and a poke in the eye to the Obama administration, and so I'll say it again, kudos to John Boehner.
Right, and let's do a little bit more eye poking. That's what he needs. Let's give it to him.
I agree. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your call. You bet. Thank you. Oh, I got to get the weather on, then we'll take some more of your calls. Please, give me a jingle. I love hearing from you. The weather this hour is brought to you by Red's Trading Post. Have you been into Red's Trading Post? Well, they had the old location on Shoshone, now the new location at 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. Oh, my goodness. Yes, sirree, they've got the greatest selection of new firearms, Browning, Beretta, Weatherby, Ruger, Benelli, Smith & Wesson, Winchester, all the ammunition, all the accessories, everything for you at Red's Trading Post. Excellent people and very knowledgeable people at 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls, Red's Trading Post. Here now, the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. A really, really nice day considering it is mid-January. Mostly sunny skies. Looking at a high right near 35. Winds out of the northeast 5 to 10 miles an hour. For tonight, more clouds going to be moving in, but some clouds decreasing overnight. Low right near 24. For tomorrow as we get closer to the weekend, partly cloudy skies, high of 34 with an overnight low of 25. And for Saturday, partly cloudy skies, high of 41. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
There you go. Brought to you by Red's Trading Post, 203 5th Avenue South in Twin Falls. I didn't mean to run by Gina on something I was going to ask her about at 7:30. Gina, I hope you don't mind me saying this. Maybe you don't want to have your personal story put out on the air. It's really your decision. But now, as a single mom, I've always saluted you for the job you do and the way you work hard and the diligence and the hours and everything.
Yes.
But you also got a degree, or are still finishing it up. I'm not sure of the status, so please tell me. A degree from the University of Idaho.
Well, okay, so actually I graduated out of the University of Idaho in 2004 with my bachelor's degree with mass communications and journalism as my major. My minor was creative writing.
Right.
And then in 2012, May of 2012, I finished my master's degree through Gonzaga University.
And
so I've done it all myself.
There you go. That's the key. That's the key. You did not have your hand out and stand on the corner with a tin cup selling pencils, or wait for Obama to come into town and give a speech that says he's going to hand you a free education.
Boy, howdy. Here's the thing with this whole free education stuff. I don't think education should be free, because it devalues the education itself. Kids will not, or even adults, they will not appreciate the value of the education, because, number one, they don't have to work for it and they don't have to pay for it.
But really, stop right there. There's another point of interest. Why? Why should the government and through a forced taxation program of $60 billion out of your pocket again and my pocket again as taxpayers, why should we pay for little Johnny and Susie to have something free, which is nothing more than a method to go ahead and buy them as Democratic voters?
Well, see, we shouldn't, and technically, really, it's not going to be necessarily free, because what they're going to do is, for the parents and the kids who are smart and are already saving for their college education, that college education savings account will be taxed, so other kids can go to school for free. So it's really not free, and yeah, we are going to be paying for it.
There you go.
I'm not a fan of that. You know what? If I had the means and the opportunity to start saving for my son's education, which I don't right now because, you know, I live paycheck to paycheck.
Absolutely.
I would.
Yep.
But I am not going to have my tax dollars going to send somebody else to school for free if I was saving for my son. And so having his stuff taxed so somebody else's kid can go to school for free, I don't like that. And
Absolutely.
so, you know, buck up and earn your keep. And go out there and get 3 jobs like I have.
What is the matter with the work ethic? What's the matter with sitting down and crunching numbers at midnight trying to figure out how you're going to do it? Hey, it made a lot of great people.
It did, but people don't want to do it. They're lazy. They just want things to be handed to them. They want somebody else to figure it out. So they don't have to. And you've got a phone call.
Okay, thank you. Boy, I tell you what, this just infuriates me. And for those out in the audience that are of the liberal persuasion, I pity you. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. When I was growing up, my dad taught me if you're looking for a helping hand, the best place to find it is on the end of your arm.
You know, I'm laughing, not at you. Please don't take it that way, but it brought back memories of my grandfather. And my grandfather on my dad's side was one tough cookie. And I can honestly, the minute you said that, I can remember Grandpa Albert saying the same thing. So you brought back a lot of memories there.
Okay, well, you have a good day.
All right, sir. God bless you. Yeah, you want a helping hand? It's right there on the end of your arm. Pick up that pitchfork and get to work, kid. I'll never forget that. That's a good memory, too. Now, this free education stuff, I mean, the Democrats are just, oh, my, it's wonderful. I was listening to some excerpts from some people that went to that little congregation, we'll call it, up in Boise. They had it in a small venue building so they could get the place filled. Other than that, I don't think they would have. But anyhow, and one lady in particular came out and she said, oh, I think it's so wonderful. I think it's so wonderful that I'm a blue dot in a sea of red. And I think the president's policies on free education, why, it's just going to help us all. Why, it's going to create a great educational system in this country where the cream will rise to the top. I thought, oh, please. Had to go take a heartburn pill. Why in the world are all the free programs so beneficial? What about working for something, for Pete's sakes? Okay. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the very, very best in tires. Whether it's the traction tires to go through the mud, the yuck, and the snow, or whether it's the passenger tires for your car, or the performance tires, they've got all the different tires for your style of driving, and all the tire chains, and the batteries. Got to have a good battery. And, of course, the best in brake service and front-end alignment. So, boy, if your front end is out of whack, that can really chew up those tires. You better have it checked today at any one of the 7 locations. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The best. Give me a call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Here is just a little snippet, a little story, and for some reason it bugs me. It just really is creating angst in me. I understand that 2 of the top Republicans are going to meet in Salt Lake sometime next week, Jeb Bush and Mitt Romney, to discuss the splitting of the Republican Party. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. I just had a comment about the kids getting free education as going to college. And my thought is, if you want to have college, if you want to have that, and you don't have the funds, there is a way, and it's called join the military.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not free because you're giving a lot of yourself, but it's certainly out there. And I had 2 children that did that, and it has worked out very well for them.
Absolutely.
One that has a tremendous education. She re-enlisted after her initial enlistment, and yeah, there was times that life was scary and you worried about things. And maybe I would have felt different if something horrendous had happened to her, but it didn't. And she has got a wonderful education. And her brother did a similar. He joined the Marines. He only did the one time, the one initial enjoyment, not joining up. But he says the education he got from joining the Marines is invaluable.
Yes.
He was just, and then he's gone on and used those benefits that come from that. So yeah, if you wanted it, I actually think it's an excellent idea too. It builds character in the kids instead of this handout. You can just have what you want.
Amen. Amen. Ma'am, I thank you for sharing that with us this morning. It meant a lot to me, and I'm sure it meant a lot to other people, too. Thank you, and God bless you, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Nice lady right there. Handing kids a free education. $60 billion. It's not free. There is no free ride. There's not an ice cream cone waiting for you free on the corner. Good heavens. We're going to pay for it. And why? Why should I? We're going to take a break right now. I got to calm down. Blood pressure, and I'll be back in 6 minutes. Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday. Don't forget Lunch Bunch today at 11:30. See you then. Oh my! Welcome back. Hour number 2, Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday, and of course brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations, and some of our great advertisers like Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. You know, we also want to take the time right now to acknowledge some really, really nice folks at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert, 436-5636, the number to call. Joe Heward and his family, just really nice people. Had a chance to visit with them the other night. We went out to dinner, Joel Heward and his lovely wife, and they are serving you with very flexible hours because they are there when you need them. Always with the highest ethical standards, with unquestioned integrity. So when there's the passing of a loved one, please don't hesitate. Call them at 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary in Rupert, serving you. Real quick reminder, too, that our weather forecast is always brought to you first thing in the morning when I start my show by some wonderful, wonderful people, and that's Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for their blue door, and they've got new hours Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays 10 to 4, and lots of newly refurbished furniture and all your Valentine decorations and beautiful indoor decor at Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Look for the blue door at 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Right now, let's head on down to the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce office and the lovely Kay Cameron. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am fantabulous. What's cooking over there this morning?
Oh, it's just a bustle of activity here this morning. We have our big annual installation banquet tonight. It's one of our biggest events of the year when we install our new board of directors and our new president and, talk about our year in review and our year upcoming. And so lots of activity going on at my office this morning. It's always fun and exciting.
Okay, let me ask you, can you name those individuals so that the general public can say, attaboy, attagirl? Can you tell us who they are?
Yes, I can. And, of course, you're putting me on the spot here for the moment. I would feel terrible if I forgot one of them.
Okay.
Okay, so We have Jennifer Cutler, who's our incoming president at First American Title.
Mm-hmm.
We have Chet Jetson, who is first vice president from the Department of Labor. We have Curtis Peterson from United Electric, who will be second vice president. And Tammy Hanks at Minidoka Memorial, who will be our past president and is our outgoing president. We appreciate everything she did for us the last year. And then the remainder of our board, we have Amy Christopherson from the College of Southern Idaho, Joe Farfan from Century 21, Marty Friesen from Amalgamated Sugar, Shelley Telleria from Snake River Farmers, Alicia Tellez from Community Council of Idaho, Leanne Turner from State Farm Insurance, Bert Stevenson from Stevenson Farms, and Susan Quanstrom from Watco Companies.
Okay. Well, it sounds to me like you've got some excellent people on that list, many of whom I know, especially that one very, very nice gentleman by the name of Bert Stevenson. You got some really good people there.
He's great. It's been so nice to have him on our board. He brings in such good leadership and such good diversity and really a whole bunch of knowledge, and it's really been beneficial to the chamber and the community as a whole. So we appreciate his service.
Absolutely. Now, what else is going on? Here we are. Good heavens. Did you look at the calendar? I mean, January's almost an afterthought.
I know. It's already... I mean, the 22nd of January, I can't believe, it seems like just yesterday we were just talking about Halloween and fall and harvest, and before we know it, we're going to see the baby calves out in the field, and we are going to see them working the ground and start planting crops. It's crazy. It just is flying by.
What else have you got planned for, let's look into maybe February with Valentine's Day or anything going on next month that you want to highlight right now?
Well, there's always a lot of activities. Next month, let's see, what have we got next month? Pomerelle has activities all the time going on. There's a master gardening class that's going to be starting up next month. There is our chamber luncheon will be next month, and let's see, what else have we got going on? Looks like maybe some music programs at the King Fine Arts Center.
Okay.
And different things, and there's certainly some things going on with Valentine's Day, sweetheart deals and dinner packages and all those types of things.
Absolutely. And if there's anything that people want to know about what's happening in the area, the best place to call is the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. And this lovely lady has 1,973 ways to get a hold of them, right?
You bet. Give us a call at 208-679-4793. Come by and see us. We're located at 1177 7th Street in Hayburn. Find us online at minicassiachamber.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and connect in LinkedIn.
All right. Kay Cameron, Director of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. God bless. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Nice lady right there. I enjoy having them on the air. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I have got to tell you that before I left to go to Salt Lake, I thought perhaps the story, and I use that term loosely, about the footballs being deflated somehow during the game between the New England Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts, I thought that would be a kind of a yawner, kind of a yucker, one time, it's over, big deal. It's not working that way. It is developing into a big scandal, and just this morning, and I know Gina's sitting there, I'm going to get her involved in this because she's kind of a football fan. Just this morning, they had a huge press conference with Bill Belichick, the coach of the Patriots, and believe me, there are other teams now that are stepping forward and saying that the allegations about the cheating with the Patriots is nothing new.
No, it's not anything new. And as a matter of fact, I was actually reading in this story because I find that Deflategate is so funny.
Let me just say this, and I want you to respond.
Okay.
It is one of those stories where one must be very careful how they use the verbiage because it could get you in trouble.
There's so many good jokes that I could say, but I can't say on the air. But these allegations were also reported by the Colts when they played the Patriots back in November.
Yep.
And so I am not surprised that more teams are coming forward and saying, hello, because if you rewind back to 2007, and Bill Belichick was being investigated then for cheating, for spying on, I do believe it was the Jets and their defensive calls.
Yep.
So the Patriots are not above cheating.
You know, and they're not above the rules. I know a lot of people have called me and said, it's a big deal over nothing, the air pressure in a football. No, that's not right. When you look at a semblance of rules, whether it's rules that we have to live by with the FCC on our radio programs, or whether it's a set of rules for a tennis match, or whether it's a set of rules for various newspapers to follow, or whatever, or a football team. We are regulated by rules that are imposed to make sure that everybody plays the same, and they have cheated.
Well, as has been reported in the past, will be probably in the future, look at the coaching staff. Look at Bill Belichick. He is not above this. He's done it before. He's been fined for it before. So what's to say that, he's not going to do it today?
And we're not talking about little slap on the hand fines either. We're talking about where Belichick has been fined over $500,000. And I don't know about you, but that's not exactly pocket change that I would carry around.
No, and if you're looking at, because I was actually doing some reading on this, $25,000 per incident. So if you say, 11 balls at $25,000 a piece, let me pull up my calculator. I can't do math in my head.
Well, it's over 300,000.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Hold on.
Pretty close.
I got to bring the calculator. How much?
You take
$75,000.
Yeah, $275,000 in almost $300,000 in fines. This is not a little minuscule amount.
No, and see, this brings into question, should they have even won that AFC championship game? And if they have proved to have cheated, then would the Colts win? Would the Colts be the default and then go to the Super Bowl?
Well, here's the thing.
I mean, that's a lot of the questions that a lot of people have.
I know, but you know as well as I do that when it came to playing football, the Patriots, as much as I despise that organization, I don't like Tom Brady, I definitely don't like Bill Belichick as a coach. I've never had a high regard for the Patriots. They are the better team. I'll be honest and very blunt. They are the better team. I think that they could have played and beaten the Indianapolis Colts that day if they would have used a Nerf ball. I honestly believe that. But the fact is, if allegations come true, if the cheating is absolutely brought to the forefront, and they did try to do something illegal, they should be hammered, and I'm not sure that fines are enough. I think victories should be taken away. And that's where you and I are on the same page.
Yeah, I think that the victory should be taken away. It's all on how this is going to be played out. Of course, the big Super Bowl games coming up. The first Sunday in February?
Yeah, it's a week from this Sunday.
Yeah, so this is kind of putting a damper on all of the Super Bowl hype because everybody is concentrating on Deflategate. And honestly, I saw this funny AC/DC video.
Why am I concerned when you started into this?
And I saw this. Well, I'm not going to play it, but
okay.
I could because it doesn't say any bad words, but it's just the way they put it together, about Tom Brady and deflated football.
Yeah. I'm very prejudiced, and there are those in the audience that are fans of the Patriots, and there are fans of other teams. I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, and I'm still in mourning for the way they handed the game over to the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to wear black, and the truth is I've got a black shirt on this morning. I really do, and I just feel bad about it. My poor Aunt Miriam, back in Wisconsin, she says, I'm 86 years old, and this was my last chance to probably see them go to the Super Bowl. And then she said some expletives about him, and then I hung up the phone. But
Aunt Miriam cussing?
Yeah, the old girl has a temper, and boy, when it comes to the Packers, you don't want to cross her. No.
Is the temper a family trait?
I can't imagine. Thank you. But, really, there's a lot of people that are upset. But when it comes to cheating and doing something against the rules, I don't care if it's just deflated footballs or whatever, the NFL has got to step in, and they've got to make a mark on this story, and they've got to make them pay the price.
I agree, but what is that mark? What is the penalty going to be? Are they going to have that AFC Championship trophy taken away from them, or are they going to be fined? Are they going to be more heavily monitored? I mean, what is the NFL going to do about it?
Okay, you ask a good question right there, and a fair question. And here's my response to that. If the cheating occurred during a championship game, which it did with the Indianapolis Colts for the AFC Championship, then my answer to you would be they should lose that game.
I agree with you, but is the NFL going to follow through with that?
I don't think so, but you also said something a moment ago that I want to also mention, that you said something very wise. Back in November, you used that game against the Colts back in November. Then, see, I would also say that game should be null and void if they cheated in that game, and they should lose that one. And it may have propelled their record to the point where they wouldn't have qualified for the AFC Championship.
I agree. I completely agree. So, all of these questions that nobody can really answer until the NFL Commission, steps forward and says, okay, this is what we're going to do. But are they going to make a decision prior to the Super Bowl, or are they going to wait until after?
I don't know, but I'm really afraid, and I mean this in all seriousness, even though a lot of people look at this story as a tongue-in-cheek story. I'm really afraid that there's going to be those sages of sports that are going to say, come on, it's no big deal, let it ride. And I'm afraid that's going to permeate on this story, and it's going to let them slide by, when I think they need especially with the NFL and the bad face that they've had in the front of the public for the wife beating and the spousal abuse and everything. I think now, if they're really going to tell everybody they're cleaning up their act, they have got to come down on any and all cheating like a fly swatter on a fly.
They really do. They need to come down hard on this, because this will set precedents. Although back in 2007, you figured Bill Belichick would have gotten a clue. However, 8 years later, he's still up to the same answer.
Yeah, and Belichick is a slob. Okay, let's call it what he is. He gets on the sideline and he wears the ragged sleeves of a sweatshirt that looks like it went in the dryer for about 3 days and fell apart. I mean, this guy, he doesn't adhere to any dress code or whatever. He just looks the part of a slob, and I have no respect for the man.
I don't either. Ever since it came out in 2007 where he was cheating, I was just like, you know what? If you cannot rely on the abilities of your team and the players that you recruit, and you have to go back and rely on cheating to win, then I'm sorry, I don't respect you. I don't respect your football program, and so therefore, why in the heck is he even a coach?
There you go. Anyhow, I'm really glad to hear your comments on this, because I think America deserves better. A lot of people equate sports with how America grew and prospered and the integrity and everything. Well, if they're going to let somebody like this and some group of people like the Patriots cheat, and it's going to be a snickering behind closed doors or behind an open hand, and then kids are going to laugh about it, that's not integrity, and I certainly hope they build on integrity and slap them in the face.
Agreed.
All right. We have a caller. I'll do a quick...
yes, we do.
Oh, boy, then we got Ken on, too. Holy smokes, I got to go. Let's ride. Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley. Don't forget, that's where the fun is sold. Absolutely the best of all your skidoos. I'm going to say that again without biting my tongue. Skidoos, snowmobiles, and all the accessories for fun in the angel dandruff. Oh, my goodness sakes. Head for the hills. They've got everything for you at Let's Ride. As I said, all the accessories, and they've got the best of service departments. Now is a great time to get your four-wheelers serviced. It is a great time, and be ready for springtime. Absolutely. And don't forget that service department. These are really qualified mechanics that know their job. At Let's Ride, Highway 24 between Rupert and Burley, definitely where the fun is sold. Also, real quick, I want to remind you, and then I'll take a quick call, very short call, about our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance. Don't forget Dean Cameron, Todd Siemens, very dedicated and responsive to your needs in protection for life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, and employee benefits. Oh my, they are good. Call them for an appointment today, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Caller, good morning. Quickly, I got 1 minute. You're on the air.
Okay, let's not jump to the gun till we find out the facts, because look what they did to poor Petrino and Penn State. They had to reinstate all their games that they was taken off of and all that stuff. So let's check things out.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Penn State was very, very deserving of the charges and allegations that were thrown at them, Al.
Then how come they reinstated everything?
There's been a lot of talk about that, but now let's not forget the court case. Let's not forget the sexual abuse charges. Let's not forget the absolutely heinous activities that took place there. And I'm not going to whitewash anything for anybody. Sports in general has got to clean up its act.
I know it. I mean, but every time that there's something going on, why the Colts has always been the biggest complainers there ever is, and they're just as guilty as anybody else.
Oh, my. Why don't you? There, you are a happy camper. Thank you for calling.
You betcha.
Okay, thanks, Al. Holy smokes, where'd all these dogs come from anyway?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
I don't know. They were locked up when I last saw them. I don't know who to blame. I mean, I can't yell at Deanne. She wasn't here. Holy smokes, the door's wide open. There's Dobermans and St. Bernards and Cocker Spaniels and Chihuahuas. Get that Chihuahua off my leg. They're all over the place. Good morning, Officer Mort with Minidoka Animal Control.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
I got dogs all over here. Somebody left the door open, and here they are.
Darn it, you should have been a little faster.
Okay. Yeah, me, faster. Oxymoron.
Exactly.
What's going on, Ken?
Well, I'm actually not going to be featuring a specific dog today. And that we've actually found homes for everything we've got, with the exception of two that I picked up on Tuesday. I'm actually trying to find their owners because they are very well taken care of. One of them is a Brindle Hound Cross, and that female. And the other one is a black and tan colored Corgi that showed up to the Paul Elementary School. They figured they must have followed some kids to school.
Right.
Very well taken care of. I mean, they're actually a little on the heavy side, and according to the vet, they actually look like they are mainly inside dogs.
So you're telling me that these dogs have been gravy trained to a great extent?
Oh, yes, they have. I mean, they are both beautiful looking. I mean, they real friendly, love to be around kids. I think that's one of the reasons why they went to the school, and it was to play with the kids. But, I mean, they are very well taken care of, and we really would like to find their owners.
See, we have, I don't know if you know about Ruby, but we've got a mini Aussie Corgi cross, and her name is Ruby. And when you feed her too much, she has a ground clearance problem, and she has a tendency to really drag in the middle.
That is very true. I've actually got a Corgi, and that has that problem.
And quite frankly, there's a lot of us adults that seem to have a tendency to go that way also.
As we get up there in age, especially me.
I can relate. But anyhow, you're looking for the owners right now.
Yes, I am. And if they're missing them, Annette, please give us a call at the facility at 438-2200, or they can contact me on my cell phone at 670-7268.
What about, I was curious, before last week we left, and I was really concerned about that one little dog, and it had a kind of an odd name, and we talked about it on my program. Did you find a home for that one?
I'm trying to remember which one.
It was like Ohu or Ahu or...
Oh, Oso?
Oso! That was it!
Matter of fact, I am taking him to Idaho Falls today.
Really?
And he is going to Dillon, Montana, where they've already found him a home.
Oh, in Dillon, Montana?
Yep.
My goodness.
Beaverhead Humane Society up there actually helps us with finding a lot of the dogs that we have around, or that we pick up around here that we can't find homes here for. They help us find homes for them up there. I mean, they average probably anywhere from 15 to 20 dogs at least every couple of weeks that they'll pull out from us, and that they found homes for up there.
Wow. Now, it kind of broke my heart to the extent that I almost called you and took the dog myself. Tell me a little bit, what was it again? What kind of a dog?
He was a Havanese on that cross. He was, I mean, a real cute little guy on that. I mean, he has warmed up to us so much that I mean, he just loves the attention now and is loving to be held and that no longer on the shy side. I mean, he's just completely warmed up, and I mean, he's going to make the people that adopted him up there and a very happy family.
Now, I'm telling you, that just makes me get tears in my eyes, because it sounds to me like your outreach program for finding these dogs homes is absolutely wonderful.
It is. I mean, like our statistics for from October 1st of 2013 through the end of September of 2014, we sent over 80% of our dogs to rescues that had found homes for them.
Wow. Man, I tell you, I've said this a lot on the program. Ken, I'm really proud of you. I'm proud to know you. I'm proud of the job you do, and just thank you. You're just a great asset over there.
And it's been my pleasure to do it.
Anything else real quick before I let you go?
Actually, and stuff and that, if anybody's still interested in donating, I know it's after the first of the year, so on it, you can't write it off on last year's taxes, but donations are still welcome. We're actually, Monday, I'm going to be setting our drop-off kennels off at the new location, and that we got the concrete pad completed and everything. It's all cured and everything, so that we can get that going. We've got to go pick up kennels down in Utah to be able to put into the building. And we're getting close to being able to start rocking and rolling over at that the new location.
All right, and number to call?
438-2200 or 670-7268.
Officer Ken Mort, Minidoka Animal Control. God bless you, man. Where'd all these dogs come from? I tell you what, that's a heartwarming story. I tell you, I just love hearing that kind of stuff. That one dog in particular just really, it left an indelible print in my mind, and I was just curious as to if he found a home or not. Thank goodness. Okay. Excuse me, by the way, did you hear that? Well, if you didn't, you better get a hold of Mount Harrison Audiology. Did you know that about 20% of the adults in the United States, 48 million people, report some degree of hearing loss? What? Huh? What'd she say? Well, I'll tell you what, at age 65, 1 out of 3 people has a hearing loss. And you shouldn't have hearing losses. Why don't you get a hold of Christine Pickup, Doctor of Audiology at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and call her for an appointment today, 312-0957. And she's located at 1218 9th Street, Unit 2, right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room. Mount Harrison Audiology, and the number 312-0957. Did you hear that? Right now, I know a lady that's listening, and she's ready to come on the program this morning, and that's the lovely Rita Ramsey. Good morning. How are you?
Rita hasn't called. Oh, here she is calling.
She's calling in as we speak. Okay, well, she's right there. I know she's going to say, good morning, Rita.
Hello, how are you?
I am fantastic. Well, no, I'm not fantastic. I've got my temper up this morning for a lot of the bits and pieces that were in the State of the Union speech. I've got my temper up this morning for incompetency and idiocy that's going on in this country and around the globe. No, I'm not in good shape. I'm mad because Obama and his State of the Union speech was a farce. It was a joke. It was a facade. It was a false front building. And I'm just mad. What are your thoughts about that State of the Union speech?
Well, actually, it wasn't really much different than anything else that he's done or any time that he ever speaks. He chews out the American people and lets them know that he's in charge, and he lies, and nobody ever calls him out on it. He's done all kinds of different things that in that message acted like, I'm the grand poobah, and you better listen to me, and I'm king and everything else. And so it's really kind of a sad deal that our media doesn't call him out on it.
One of the points that came out, and I'm sure you're aware of this, but that sob story about Rebecca and Ben Storer from Minnesota. Oh my, got married, life was good, and then economic tragedy took place, and they lost almost everything, and they battled back with courage, and they managed to gain back their prestige and their income. Wait a minute, it was all a farce. She, they found out later, was a former Democratic staffer for Patty Murray, and she was also an Obama activist. None of that was told during Obama's little sob story.
Well, and that's the same thing as, remember, during health care, how they had all of the doctors with their white coats. Well, actually, those were people with white coats, not doctors that were reporting it and everything else. They just do all kinds of things so that they can present these little lies, and nobody will be, all the wiser about it. And it's just sad that people, mainly the news media, who really should be the fourth arm of the government, doesn't take issue with it and start calling them out nationally, because unless some of the others do, all the people that I heard somebody say, the people who watch this the State of the Nation thing would go, oh, this is wonderful. If they're just low information people, they would think, oh, this was wonderful. He's so in tune with what we're doing, and things are looking better, and we're happy, and da 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 da. And so the low information voters and people who are watching are going to think it was just wonderful. Those of us who follow the news and know everything that's going on would go to fact check and find out that about everything he said was not true, and it was manufactured stuff. I did notice a tweet by Congressman Stephen King, I think is his name, when he said that the lady who was the immigrant sitting by Mrs. Obama is an illegal immigrant, and they should have had her booked and sent back home.
Amen. Amen. Why not? Are you still there?
Yes.
You scared me. How many children did you send to college, Rita?
Well, I sent 2, and it took my husband and I quite a bit of time and money to help pay for them and get them educated. And they, of course, they had to work and do their own thing to actually, I actually helped 2 son-in-laws as well. But a college education should be up to the individual, because you have to just quit giving things, or it becomes a gimme, 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 and it doesn't matter, and they just waste it.
How dare you sit on my program and tell America, now that we're heard at all points of the compass and we have listeners in Florida and Wisconsin, how dare you sit there and say, why, you want to be like Scrooge. You don't want to pay for all these college educations. You don't want to provide $60 billion for free college. What's the matter with you?
Well, I guess I am a Scrooge, but we just get to the point where we can't afford any more. We already have $18.1 trillion in debt, with $125 trillion in unfunded liabilities. What are we thinking?
I worked and I don't give a rip if somebody thinks, oh, you poor Zeb. Well, listen, it was the way things had to be. When I went to college to get my degree, I had to work some really lousy jobs. Like I said earlier, first hour, I had to arrange my schedule so that I had a morning job, and then also I had another job late in the afternoons from 4 to midnight. And then I'd get home, study, and go through the whole thing the next day. It didn't hurt me any. It didn't hurt my sister any. It didn't hurt anybody else that I know any. And why in the world now, at my age, should I have to be relied upon to pay for other kids' free education, and they have no value of what that takes? We're just going to give it to them.
Well, that's exactly right. And the other thing is by doing that, didn't it shape you and fill your soul and make you the person that you are? I
believe so, yes. Yes. It didn't hurt me at all. As a matter of fact, I mentioned that first hour. It taught me a lot of responsibility that I would never have had elsewhere. And it also taught me to break off of my dad's coattails and everybody else's coattails and be self-reliant on my own income.
And see, by us giving them things just makes them more dependent on those of us who are paying for their way. And so it doesn't make any sense to do that. We give a free education to grade school, and up through high school, and that's where it needs to stop, and then we all turn into adults, and we have different paths that we want to go and we need to go, and we need to do it on our own.
What in the world? Here's what I see, and if you don't agree with this, please tell me. But all this is another very optimum measure for Democrats, the loons that are liberals, to buy votes for the future.
Oh, absolutely. I heard somebody saying it was a show that I was watching, and when she referred to President Obama, she referred to him as President Free Stuff, and that's all he is. He's just, let's give everything free to everybody. And he knows, I know he knows, he's not an idiot. He knows that this is going to break our country. We do not have the money to do it. And then it makes people dependent on the government, in which I think is his main objective there. But we can't do it. We just can't.
I got to ask you this morning, if you've been following the news, which I know you of everybody does, for the first time this morning, last hour, you probably heard me say kudos to a person that I very seldom ever say kudos to, and that's Speaker of the House, John Boehner. I think it's fantastic that he invited Israel's Netanyahu to speak before Congress on February 11th and kind of poking the eye to Obama and his administration.
Well, hopefully he will keep doing some of this kind of stuff, and we know that he's not doing that on his own. He's got a few other people that are backing him up and saying, hey, we need to start doing this kind of stuff. We're in trouble here. And if we don't have Israel at our side, and we're pushing them and promoting them and helping them, knowing that we're behind them, we're going to be in big trouble, and they will too, because they've got to have us and we need them.
Rita, what you said right there is really something that needs to be expanded upon, because of all the things and all the items that Obama talked about in his State of the Union lollipop address, it was a lollipop, that's all it was. He never, ever got into, we are at war. We're having a major war and conflagration right now with the bad guys around the world, and he minimized that and never even gave it more than one sentence in his speech.
Well, that's right. This State of the Union message was the first one since 2001 that the word Al-Qaeda has never been mentioned.
That's right. What about the war on terror? Now, I want to talk about this just a little bit with you, because some of the experts that I've talked to, some of the generals that have been on this program that you see on Fox News and other news shows, are more than worried today than they were at Christmas time, at Thanksgiving, or ever before, because this administration is not addressing the problem. What is the matter with this administration that when it comes down to the points of if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it must be a duck? What is the matter with calling the Muslim terrorism or Islamic terrorism what it is? The problems that have been caused by these people need to be addressed, and name them.
Well, I can only speculate that they are actually in bed with our enemies. You know, you get the Muslim Brotherhood and some of those that are on the front lines promoting these kind of people with Al-Qaeda and ISIS and those. They're all buddied up together and woven in together, and so I think it's kind of like, well, we can't show that we're against them or anything, because a lot of our people are involved with them and whatever. But it just makes me mad. It really bothers me, because it's un-American, and we are not distinguishing who the enemy is, and that we need to go after them and protect Americans. That just does not part of the modus operandi of this administration, and the people who are all in their circles and people that they know and associate with, and even a lot of the congressmen. And you can call me a McCarthyist if you want, but it is true what Louis Gohmert and Michelle Bachmann and those on that National Security Commission were talking about was there are lots of people in the administration that do not have security clearances, and the reason they don't have clearances is because they wouldn't be able to get one.
Okay, now you've led me right up to saying what I've said many times on this program. Our own Congressman, Mike Simpson, got on this program. It's now going on almost 2 years, and basically called me, Michelle Bachmann, and others, like you just mentioned, McCarthyist, because we were very, very questionable about whether or not more Muslim Brotherhood members of the Muslim religion should be in the White House and the administration, and nobody really knew their backgrounds. And our own Mike Simpson, and I'll say this again for everybody to hear, I think owes us an apology.
Well, of course he does, and he also needs to study history a little bit, because if he studied history, he would know that McCarthy was right.
That's right.
And all of this baloney about being a McCarthyist and just saying, oh, so-and-so's a communist and da-da-da-da-da and on and on and on, and so they start in on McCarthy instead of going and doing some fact-checking. Well, McCarthy was right. There were communists in Congress, and there still are, and now there are sympathizers with the enemy in Congress, and we have got to get it stopped.
Well, I've got one more question on this topic before I have to do a weather forecast. Why? Why is this administration, why are they just so hell-bent on relaxing the rules and relaxing the sentences of the bad guys? I don't care if they're Al-Qaeda, I don't care if they're ISIS, and they're letting these people go. Why?
I think he owes people on the other side, and I think he's doing payback, and I don't know whether it's because he got elected or because they finance him or just what. He is in bed with the enemy, and that's why he is not relenting. He's just letting them do whatever they want. I still think his ultimate goal is to tear down the nation and break it. I really do, and this is one way that they can do it, is by letting the enemy overrule us.
I've got to do a quick weather forecast, and then I've got to come back, and I want to talk to you a little bit about Mitt Romney and Jeb Bush, so stay tuned. Stand by. Don't forget our dear friends at Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center. Oh, my goodness sakes, at 382 North Overland in Burley. Yes, they are ready to see you today. Minor emergencies, major care. They will take care of you. Whether it's ear infections or maybe a sinus infection, the flu, a sprain, a strain, a fracture, injury due to accident, they're there. They're waiting for you right now. All you have to do is call 678-6996. That number again, 678-6996, located at 382 North Overland in Burley. As I said, Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center. Minor emergencies, major care. Here now, our weather.
Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. A really, really nice day considering it is mid-January. Mostly sunny skies. Looking at a high right near 35. Winds out of the northeast 5 to 10 miles an hour. For tonight, more clouds going to be moving in, but some clouds decreasing overnight. Low right near 24. For tomorrow as we get closer to the weekend, partly cloudy skies, high of 34 with an overnight low of 25. And for Saturday, partly cloudy skies, high of 41. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Excellent job. And brought to you by Riverview Urgent Care and Medical Center. Yes, sirree. They will see you today. Minor emergencies, major care. 678-6996, located at 382 North Overland in Burley. Rita, I heard a news story earlier this morning. It came on at about 4:10 this morning, and I wanted to ask you about it. The news story said simply that Mitt Romney and Jeb Bush were going to be meeting in Salt Lake City sometime next week to talk about the split in the Republican Party. What do you think will come of that meeting by right now the two frontrunners for the nomination?
Well, there will be a split, and the split is that people don't want the same old thing that we had before.
Right.
If there's anybody who can make our economy turn around, it would be Mitt Romney. The problem with Mitt Romney is I think he is such a nice guy that he won't go after somebody's jugular vein to get a job, even if it's to get a job as president. He's not going to lower himself to fight in the mud, and I think that he's just too nice of a guy, maybe. I don't know why he wouldn't. He would do okay. Jeb Bush is so much Common Core and so much for amnesty that I think that he will be dropped out really quick. However, I heard a different news one than you heard, and basically what it was is it said, well, the Republicans are going to do this new way of selecting their representatives, and what it all boils down to is you have to have $250 million to run, and so it all boils down to money, and then you have to have $1 billion if you get the nomination, and so you've got to be able to raise money, and so what he was saying is, well, Mitt Romney can raise the $250 million, and so can Bush. and Mike Huckabee can, and Rand Paul can. And so it kind of looks like those would probably be the four that would go into the deal. They're making some changes with the way that the debates will go. They don't want to have 18 guys out at each of the debates just raking each other over the coals. They want to narrow it down. They want to be able to choose who the moderators are, no matter what newscast it's, or news station it's on, and some of that kind of stuff. And what it all boils down to is the Republicans will choose by money. And they've got to get all of this stuff done because there's a number of states that are having earlier primaries, Idaho being one of them.
Mm-hmm. Let me
and I just think it's kind of a done deal, and we're not going to have that much choice.
I totally agree with you, and I think the good people that could run and should run are going to be forced out of it economically. And I'm just going to throw some names at you, and I want to get your response. I like the likes of Ted Cruz. I like the likes of Governor Scott Walker. And here's why. I want to stop right there and say why I'm in defense of Scott Walker, possibly as getting a nod for either president or vice president. This man went through pure hell in Wisconsin. When the liberal left tried to tear him apart after he was elected, they went after his policies. They said he was no good, etc. But at the same time, the proof was in the pudding, and his state of Wisconsin was starting to get rid of all the red and replace it by going into the plus column, and he did a wonderful job, and he had to fight them all the way on a recall, etc. There's a man that's had his feet in the fire and knows exactly how to defeat the left.
He would be one of my very top choices. I love Scott Walker. He is made of steel. He has gone through the baptism with fire, that's for darn sure. And he knows how to be an administrator over, a lot of bipartisan issues. I mean, he's proved that. The big problem with him that he has is he doesn't have name recognition like some of these others, and so they'll try to give us the others instead of him.
But there, you said something earlier that we're looking at 14, 15, 16, maybe 18 candidates. I mean, they're strung out like signs on a freeway, and we need to define it, and we need to get some power going. But any of them, honest to goodness, I believe this from my heart of hearts, any of them are still 10 times better than the likes of Hillary on the Democratic side.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And the thing of it is that I'm kind of curious, if the Republican committee is trying to do this, why do we have primaries? Because that's what primaries are for, is to see who the people like and kind of narrow it down. Instead, it's kind of like, well, we need to choose who it's going to be before the primaries.
Absolutely. I heard the phone ringing in the background. I heard Gina saying KBAR. Let's see if that calls for us. We'll wait and see. Is that for us on this program? We'll wait and see.
It's on the K-bar end. I can hear Gina typing or talking.
Yeah, I could hear it too. Sounds like an open mic someplace or something. I just want to check on that. Last thought. What's going on with the Tea Party real quick before we let you go today?
Well, our main thing is we're still chugging away at trying to get Common Core through our legislature and see if they can do whatever they can to repeal it. And they made some strides with that when they had their meeting in Boise, sending legislative stuff to the legislators when they made, they go through and decide what they'd like the legislature to look at. And they did come up with a Republican platform of against Common Core, and hopefully that will happen. We're still trying to just get people informed. This last week I've been really concerned about the Boulder White Cloud thing. Apparently nothing too much happened with it yesterday, except that I see that Simpson has decided, well, if we can't have the whole Boulder White Clouds, we'll have a new proposal, and he just won't get off of it.
Yeah.
There was one thing that he actually said that I makes some sense, and it's surprising that he actually said it. He said the national monument idea is worrisome primarily because no one can say for sure what a presidential proclamation would include. That's what happens when you say you want something designated as a monument.
You know, this issue with the monument status or whatever with Simpson, and I was afraid also that Obama was going to come into Boise and name that status, and I'm out of time, but I just want to say this. I, as a taxpayer and also a person that has a physical challenge, I don't want to feel like I'm locked out of the money that I pay taxes on.
Well, that's the whole thing. You and I can just keep paying and paying and paying and losing all of our rights for access to it and everything else. It's going on in the South Hills. It's done, you know, they did it with the City of Rocks, and they're closing off all kinds of stuff. They started back with the Mike Church, or not Mike Church, the Frank Church, you know, the Church River of No Return Wilderness, that they declared all of that area up in northern Idaho as nobody can go in unless you take it in on your back. At least they'll let horses in there. But some of this other, they probably wouldn't even let horses in. It's like you take it on your backpack and that's it.
Absolutely. Rita, time goes too fast. I always enjoy having you on the program. The very best to you and your family. Thank you so much for your time this morning, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
Okay, thanks, Seb. Bye.
Thank you. Rita Ramsey right here on our program. A very, very nice lady. I got to admit that it's diet time for me, but it's not diet time for you. And if you're driving down the road right now and you're hungry and starving to death, I know some great places for you to go have lunch. Oh, these are delicious. How about Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley? Oh, try the Tamalito Burrito, tamale-flavored chicken with rice smothered in jalapeno ranch sauce. With cheese and lettuce. It is so fantastic. It's just got me just worked up to a fever pitch. It is delicious. Everything is delicious at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. And then how about Old Burgers, etc. 2 locations, 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. They've got corn dogs for only 99 cents after 3 p.m. And they've got bread bowl soup. This is a home run. Everybody loves the bread bowl soup. Monday through Friday, different flavor every day. Oh, my goodness sakes. And then they got that Sunday shrimp dinner special at the Burley store. You're going to love Burgers, etc. And they're located at 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. Let's not forget Steve-O's. My goodness, 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. And food made the way you like it. Fresh hand-cut fries. Oh, they're delicious. And hand-patted hamburger patties made daily with love. And pork chops with salad and choice of potatoes. And my favorite, the steak sandwich. I am drooling. You're going to love it. All the food. Great servers at Steve-O's. 290 South, 600 west of Hayburn. Let's not forget Duck Uglies, 163 West Highway 30 in Burley. They don't do fast food. They do great food as fast as they can. Oh, my goodness sakes, they got a great menu with all the ribeye steaks and the New York steaks and the shrimp and the salmon and the battered cod and all the delicious sandwiches and burgers. Oh, my goodness sakes, they got entertainment over there on the weekends. You're going to love it. You will, I promise. Duck Uglies. Duck Uglies at 163 West Highway 30 in Burley. And last but not least, how about the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Combo meals and the famous Farmer Brown burgers. My grandsons love the Farmer Brown burgers and the ranch burgers and all the shakes. They've got every known taste of shake to mankind. They are delicious. You're going to love it. And don't forget, too, they've got the opening at 11 a.m., close at 9 o'clock, closed on Sundays at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. A great, great place. Well, there you go. If you're hungry or starving to death, I know some great places to go eat. Okay, now that I'm drooling and hungry, I can't wait for lunchtime. I want to tell you, too, that coming up next hour, we're going to have the Cassia County School Days, and we're going to have a very nice lady on, Kim Bedke, and we're going to be talking about a very serious topic, and that is suicide prevention. and I've got a lot of questions. I cannot wait to get this lady on the air, Kim Bedke. She is the Federal Programs Director, and going to be very, very interesting. That's coming up at about 10:09 this next hour. Then at 10:30, we're going to be having a gentleman by the name of Mike Ciandella. And Mike's going to be talking about how George Soros wants to take everything away from you. All the little social amenities like keeping warm and everything else that, gee, is kind of nice in the wintertime because we're spending too much money and it's contributing to climate change and also contributing to capitalism. And he's going to try to stop that. Oh, boy. Coming up, I'll be back in 6. Oh my, welcome back. Hour number 3. Zeb at the Ranch with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you, and they are the best. Along with some of our great advertisers, and we say thank you very much to Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Thank you very much. What's going on at the Chadwick today? Let's see. At the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Oh, today, spaghetti carbonara. With garlic toast and super salad. I love saying that. Spaghetti carbonara. It's delicious. Yes, all the food is, all the specials. You're going to love the menu items and the people and the interior decorating of the Chadwick Sports Grill, all the sports memorabilia. 139 West Main in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Okay? Let's see what else have we got cooking here. Let's see, this weekend, what do you got planned this weekend, Gina? What are you going to be doing? Working on the car, working on the young man, Kennedy? What do you got cooking?
I think we might go skiing. Other than that, plans are still pretty much up in the air. So
you're hooked on that skiing, aren't you?
Yes.
Wow. A snow bunny.
Well, we're trying... The only reason I got into it is because James loves to go skiing, and so I, like to be with him. So I was like, okay, I'll try something new. And honestly, I really enjoy the sport. Now we're getting Kennedy into it. So, that's what I think what we're going to do.
As big as James is, I mean, are all the trees in the forest afraid of him?
Honestly, for a guy his size, he's pretty agile.
Oh, I know he is, but I mean, normally they're always saying, be careful and don't hit trees. Well, in your case with James, trees, be careful he doesn't run over you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But, he's, I tell you what, the guy is just phenomenal on skis. He goes, he can duck the trees and everything, and I'm like, wow. Because
duck the trees? He steps over them. What are you talking about?
Steps over them, goes around them, where I see a tree, I'm coming up too fast on a tree, and I'm going to be freaking out.
He's kind of like a Paul Bunyan on a pair of wood skis. Yeah, look out.
Yep, it's a lot of fun, so I think that's what we might be doing. I'm not sure.
What's the hardest maneuver for you as a novice skier?
To turn.
To the left or right?
To turn to the right. I can turn to the left just fine because my right leg is my power leg, and so I can turn to the left just fine. Turning to the right, though, presents some issues for me.
See, you people that are normal, you have it so easy. Yeah.
Normal.
You have it so easy. When I was learning how to ski, Jim Olson was teaching me with the outrigger skis that were on my crutches, plus the 2 skis on my legs. And when you go to make a turn, you can see your life pass before your eyes because you know you're going to die.
Yeah, but see, you're dealing with 4 skis.
Yeah.
You're dealing with 2. So
yeah.
That would present a special little challenge. Yeah.
I mean, I could cover all 4 points of the compass in one fall.
But obviously you survived.
I did, and I don't know how, because as beat up as my body is today and all the broken bones and everything, I wonder why I was so stupid in the first place.
Because you wanted to try something new.
And I enjoyed it.
Somebody talked you into it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. No, I really wanted to learn how to ski. And I was never good at it. Please, I want to say I was never good at it. But once you learn a few of the basics on shifting your weight and everything and how to handle those outrigger skis, it's not as hard as it looks.
No, and honestly, once you get the hang of it and you're moving down the mountain, it's almost like, you're standing still, but you're just flying down the mountain.
Yeah, but there were some occasions when I was first learning where words like holy came to mind when you're on 4 skis going in different directions.
It comes to mind when you're on 2 skis as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we've got Kim on the phone with Cassia Schools.
Okay, we'll start it up right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cassia County School Days, and we're very, very blessed to have 2 wonderful sponsors for this show, and they are, of course, A Child's World, located at 1308 Overland in Burley, and, of course, at A Child's World, believe me, they're having all their winter clothing on sale, along with their shoes, and they've got all the Cherokee and Dickie scrubs and shoes, and don't forget they've got everything over there for the wee ones, the little babies, everything at A Child's World. And they're located at 1308 Overland in Burley. You stop in and see them today. Also, we want to say thank you to the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Number to call, 677-8888. Now, let me tell you, if you need surgeries, whether it's for carpal tunnel syndrome or whether it is even a life-saving colonoscopy, call them first and save money. 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center, along with A Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County. Right now, and I'm looking forward to this conversation because she's a very nice lady and very, very well-spoken about this topic. She is the Federal Programs Director for Cassia County Schools, Kim Bedke. Kim, good morning to you.
Zeb, how are you this morning?
I am great. Thank you for being back on the program again, but I want to stress that this segment this morning, very, very serious, and I have some personal interest and information on this subject. We're going to be talking about how you in the Cassia County School District are helping to train teachers and parents about one of the most serious subjects you could ever talk about, and that is suicide. And I was absolutely shocked when I received this memo that in the last 5 years, Idaho has lost over 78 school-age children to suicide. Kim, give us a little background on what this program is about.
Well, Zeb, thank you so much. And like you, my efforts in this, yes, I'm working in the capacity of Cassia School District as educators, but unfortunately, some of us belong to a club, and that is the devastation that suicide has taken on our families. Right. And so this is a very personal, in addition to it being as part of our school district. And as what we have done is, because I don't think you can talk to a person anymore that has not been touched by suicide. And when we talk about our young folks, I tell you what, it can take you to your knees. And you're right, in the last 5 years, we've actually lost 83 school-age children to suicide. 14 were under the age of 15. And another little statistic, and this is why we're doing this, because those statistics have faces for too many of us. And actually, Idaho, suicide is the second leading cause of death for our age group of 14 to 24 years of age. The second leading cause of death. So as a personal, promise to some very important people to me is that I wouldn't forget the faces, and I wouldn't forget the cause, and I wouldn't ever let go the need for awareness for suicide and for the facts. So we have asked the Idaho Lives Project. They are out of Boise, Idaho. It's a group of professionals that work with the leaders in our nation on suicide. And we've asked them to come to our district for 2 different meetings. Monday the 26th, we have 2 different great opportunities for them to come in. And the first is our school board was gracious to release an early release that day, so kids will be leaving early from school. We've, hopefully communicated that well with parents. And we are bringing the entire school district to the King Fine Arts Center for this presentation. And Idaho Lives Project, their build, Helping Idaho Youth Choose to Live. They're going to be talking about what's true and false about suicide. They're going to be looking at the risk factors and warning signs. And also, how we as parents, as teachers, as a community can talk to someone, who may be suicidal, and more important, how we refer them to get help to the professionals.
Kim, let me interrupt you there. And as I said, this is a very, very serious topic. And I can remember vividly back to high school, a young man that had a severe weight problem in high school. He was a friend, but yet he also acted like an outcast. And maybe that's our fault. I don't know. But all through his junior year, I guess there were warning signs, and there were certain things that were said and maybe not said, and things that were done that people should have been alerted to. And then all of a sudden, and I'm not going to go into the specifics, but all of a sudden, Bill was gone. He took his own life. And that really brought home to me that all is not normal, all is not well, and that we have to be really cognizant, and we have to hear what these people are saying. What would you say to that?
Zeb, I think you're spot on. And one of the things, and I won't go in too much of what these professionals are going to talk about, because I will water it down, and that's not justice to this topic. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that they will talk about in depth at these meetings is what you explained, and that is one of the big pieces about people that get to the point that they do take their lives, is that they feel like they do not belong. That they are so isolated, even though they're surrounded by people. There's still a feeling of isolation, that they don't belong, and that it's better without them.
How do we, as a society, and I'm not trying to get into anything that you don't want to talk about this morning, but it's so interesting, because I think there's somebody listening right now that might need this help. How do we get into the points of letting people know that what they have to say is important, life is important, and if they're having problems, they need to help tell us what we can do to help them?
Absolutely, and I will bring up one point that they say in this meeting. And before I do that, let me add the second piece of this Idaho Lives project. And this is, and I'm here with you, Zeb. I'm begging, people to come to this. From 6 to 8 is our parent and community presentation. Mm-hmm. So these folks have been gracious to stay to talk about with all of you out there that come to this. And one of the things that they talk about, again, the warning signs, they talk about the fallacies, and they talk about being able to say the word suicide and not whisper it. And it's hard. I mean, we all know how hard it is. I can't say it without getting choked up. But we have to be able to have conversations with our kids, with our 23-year-olds are still kids.
Right.
And we have to be able to talk about suicide, and we have to ask an important question, and it's hard. We have to ask, are you thinking about killing yourself? Mm-hmm. And that's a hard pill to swallow. Many times we say, are you thinking of hurting yourself? And is why that actually is the correct way to put it is because someone that is on the verge, that they've lost so much hope and they're hurting so much, they don't think of suicide as hurting themselves. They think of suicide as ending the hurt for them and their families.
One thing that was said to me, Kim, and this has been, I can't remember how many years ago, but I was having this conversation on another radio program, another radio station, and the person that was visiting with me said that we need to somehow give them a splash of cold water right in the face to let them know we know what they might be thinking, and that might act as a curbing agent from them following through.
That's what research is saying, Zeb, that asking that question, that cold, splash of water in the face, that are you thinking of killing yourself? Mm-hmm. Those words right there, open conversations, it brings the dam down. And actually they are saying that point blank asking has been the turn for many people.
Kim, I've got to ask you this, and we've got a limited amount of time left, but in general, Would you say that society has lost respect for life, and that's why we're seeing these numbers as high as they are today?
My opinion is that our kids, it's overwhelming. And honestly, when I'm around kids in schools these days, I see probably more respect for need and hurt than I've ever seen before. And so it's bringing awareness, and it's giving each other, empowering each other to talk about it. So I'm asking you to come out Monday, the 26th. It's at the Burley Little Theater from 6 until 8. This content is not appropriate for anyone under 21. They do go into schools, but it's talked about completely different with kids. So please, no one under 21. We're actually serving a potato and taco bar afterwards for everyone that is there. Hopefully it gives people time to network and have these conversations.
Well, I just want to urge, and you said this is coming up on the 26th, right?
Yes, just in a few days.
Okay.
Sunday.
Well, thank you, and I mean this, Kim Bedke, for coming on our program this morning to talk about it. And that's something I think is the key, for people to talk about this. You can't push this behind the drapes or under the rug and expect to help anybody.
Absolutely. And as a school district, yes, I'm federal programs, and sometimes we all shudder when we hear federal programs, but it's something that we're hoping to provide, strength to the professionals to help our kiddos and our youth.
Is there a number you want to mention in case somebody wants to give you a call?
Absolutely. You can call my office at 878-6611. And I'm actually in a meeting all day today, but you can leave a message, and I assure you that I will get back with you. And let me leave this number also in the Idaho Suicide Prevention Hotline. It is 1-800-273-TALK.
Okay.
1-800-273-TALK, which is 8255.
All right. Kim, would you do me a favor, and after this meeting is over, would you mind coming back on the program and we'll talk further about this?
I would be honored.
I would appreciate it very much. Thank you so much, Federal Programs Director for the Cassia County Schools, Kim Bedke. Thank you so much, and I mean this when I say it. God bless you. I appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Have a beautiful day.
Thank you very, very much. A very, very serious topic, and for anybody, let alone our school children, and that's suicide prevention. Excuse me, and please, if you have any more questions, call Kim Bedke at the Cassia County Schools. She gave the numbers, and find out more information, please. Very, very important. Cassia County School Days brought to you by, of course, our friends at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley, and Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland Avenue in Burley. Thank you very much for sponsoring this segment on Cassia County Schools. Let's go to Gina over at our studio real quick and see if we've got Nick Greenwell on the phone. Is Nick ready?
Yes, he is.
Oh, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call him Mr. Muscle, Mr. Fitness, and Mr. Feel Better. Hello, Nick Greenwell at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
Well, I'm getting better, and I'm also getting ready to start coming back down to seeing you at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. You know, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about this morning, Nick, is the easy access to get into your building. I mean, you've made it really easy, whether they've got aches and pains or bad knees or whatever. It's not hard at all to get into your business, is it?
Well, we took that into account when we built the place because, I'll say a larger majority of our clients, when they come and see us, might have a little hitch in their giddy-up, or maybe they just had, knee surgery or back surgery or something, and we don't want them to have to traipse across the big old parking lot and try and figure how to get in there. So, yes, it is. We've got, pretty much street-side access, and we put our parking right next to the door. So, yeah, it's fantastic. It works real well for us and our clients.
Let me ask you this. What about the staff? Now, when people think about Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation and all the people that work there and everything, I mean, what kind of a person, what kind of education, what kind of training do they have to help other people?
Well, I mean, we kind of have three levels of help here, so to speak. We have our front office staff. and other support personnel that kind of help with more of the administrative things, the scheduling things, the housekeeping things, the assisting a little bit in the back kind of stuff. We pretty much just make sure that they're good people, if you will, with a lot of social skills and can juggle things well. And they do a great job with that. Always see a friendly smile when you walk in the door, and get good service up front. And then in the back, the clinical staff is comprised of myself and Jordan Anderson, which are full-time physical therapists. We have it's a 7-year program to get a degree in physical therapy, and then we have 4 physical therapy assistants, and that's a 4-year degree, and it just works. Like I say, we've worked together for a long time. We've got a lot of experience here in a variety of settings and fields, and so it's a nice marriage between the 3 levels of support here to kind of help with customer service, and all the way from the first time you schedule until you're done with your visits. So I'm really, really, really happy with our staff here now, and we feel like we offer excellent customer service to everybody that walks in the door.
Nick, what about the situation where somebody's had a car accident or somebody fell down the steps or maybe even a horse accident or whatever? They go to their doctor and they're all kind of banged up and they say, well, you need physical therapy. How does the relationship go from being hurt and injured to the doctor to you? What do they have to do? What do they have to know?
Well, it's a unique process, let's just say that. But we have, again, I've been here for 16 years, so I have very close relationships with all the medical professionals, not only in Burley and the Rupert area, but we work with a lot of physicians, out of Twin and Boise and Salt Lake and the surrounding areas. But what happens usually is a patient goes to their doctor with an injury or they need a surgery or whatever it is, and the physician will recommend physical therapy at that point. And again, with most docs, they have a pretty good idea, where they'd like them to go, based on, levels of experience, and maybe they specialize in this, that, or the other. But so they'll recommend PT at a specific place usually, and so they'll send the referral with them. And a lot of times the physician will even call and schedule the appointment, or they'll just charge the patient with calling and making the appointment. So we do that. We get them in for their initial consultation, and either Jordan or I will sit down with them and do an initial exam, build a plan of treatment for them, and off they go. And we take care of about every insurance known to man here to make it easy for the patients. And we send them back to the doc at certain intervals during their care to make sure that all things are progressing and doing well. Or if not, they can change the course of treatment or go in a different avenue, whatever. And that's kind of the way it works.
Okay. One final thought here this morning before I let you go. Your pool is absolutely amazing, and water is a great healer, and you have that hydrotherapy pool and a lot of great exercises, and I believe you're the only one in the area with a pool.
We are. We're real happy. We're real proud of that pool. We put it in about 7 years ago, and oh my goodness, we use it every hour, on the hour, every day, it seems like. So yes, we use it a lot for the buoyancy effect primarily, to take weight off of the body and allow us to exercise and move and lubricate those joints and stimulate those muscles without a lot of compression or weight bearing on those joints. And my goodness, the patients just absolutely love it. So we're excited to have that. It is kind of a unique thing to have in the area.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, talking to Nick Greenwell with Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you to get back to being you. 678-1191. Nick, God bless. Have a great day. We'll have you back.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to beating on you again, Zeb.
All right. Thank you, Nick Greenwell. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Wonderful people at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. We're going to take a little break right now and send it back over to our main studios, and then we'll come back, and we have a guest coming up this next hour by the name of Mike Ciandella, and we're going to be talking about George Soros and how he hates capitalism. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
And now, Now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much, and welcome back into our last short segment for this morning, and then it's off to Lunch Bunch at 11:30. Everybody try to be there. Gina, if it's okay with you over at the main studio, I think what I'll do is do the weather quickly so we don't have to interrupt our guest in just a few moments.
You got it?
The weather this hour brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. Scarrows Meats, of course, offering the very, very best of beef and pork and lamb and wild game processing. They guarantee everything they sell, and they sell taste one great bite at a time. It's excellent. Scarrows Meats, locally owned and supplying all the goodies for Southern Idaho for over 20 years. Here now is the weather.
Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. A really, really nice day considering it is mid-January, mostly sunny skies. Looking at a high right near 35, winds out of the northeast 5 to 10 miles an hour. For tonight, more clouds going to be moving in, but some clouds decreasing overnight, low right near 24. For tomorrow, as we get closer to the weekend, partly cloudy skies, high of 34 with an overnight low of 25. And for Saturday, partly cloudy skies, high of 41. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
And thank you very much, Gina. Brought to everybody this hour by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome, 324-7657. Selling taste one bite at a time. Scarrows Meats. Excellent people. We're going to go to the phone lines right now, and I'm going to say good morning to a gentleman that I don't think has been on my program before, so we want to wish him a very welcome good morning. Mike Ciandella, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. This is my first time. I'm happy to be on, though.
Well, I hope I said your name correctly, Mike. If I didn't, correct me, please.
That was actually correct. Not many people say it correctly the first time, but kudos to you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Hey, I've got to ask you something, Mike. You wrote a really interesting piece about George Soros and this meeting over in Switzerland regarding climate change, etc. I'll tell you right up front, I am not a climate change believer. I believe that, yes, there is climate change, but it is controlled by the Almighty and not mankind. I believe we're going back into a cooling trend from the many, many, many scientists that I've had on this program that say for the last 19 years we're going into a cooling factor that is going to change a lot of things on Earth as far as food production, etc. But here we have one of the richest men in the world, George Soros, saying that we've got to adhere to his policies on climate change, and he also stated that communism is no longer a threat, but capitalism is. You wrote a very interesting piece. Tell us about it, please.
Absolutely. And I completely agree with you on climate change, too. You know, even talking to scientists that the left would bash as climate change deniers, a lot of the times they're agreeing that the climate's always naturally changed. If you read a history book, you see that temperatures were different, shorelines were different, everything was different. That's the way that the world works. But this conference now over in Switzerland, it's the World Economic Forum. It's a hodgepodge group of a whole bunch of the rich and famous jetting around in their private jets and complaining about how the middle class of the world spends too much money and does things too extravagantly. And a group of them got together. They get together for these little meetings where they talk about ways to help the global economy, end poverty, all the pie in the sky type of stuff. So they're sitting around, and they let the head of a heavily Soros-funded group do a sales pitch for George Soros' plan to create a new global monetary order, which is kind of a scary thing to think about. All these world leaders, these top business people, politicians from around the world just sitting there listening to it. I mean, it was basically a sales pitch, if you watch it, for Soros' plan for the global economy.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this, and you're more versed on what happened there than I am, Mike, but from a layman's point of view, mine, I would say and ascertain that capitalism like we have that has made this great country what it is, and it's also created a slush fund, if you will, for us to help others. Capitalism far exceeds any other type of government as far as helping the world's needy. Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, I absolutely 100% agree with you. And the irony, too, is that capitalism got all these people, all those billionaires and politicians who are sitting around at those tables talking about how evil capitalism is. It got them all to where they are. It even got George Soros to where he is. He started up from nothing. Now he's worth, I think it was $23 billion at last estimate. That's capitalism, but he's intent on biting the hand that feeds him, and his groupies, if you will, are all on board to do the same.
Mike, what do they want? What do they want us to do? I mean, they fly in on, 1,700 various private jets, the world's richest, but what do they want us to do? Live in a cave and burn buffalo dung?
Pretty much, it seems like. I'd respect their demands for people like you and me a lot more. I mean, I still wouldn't agree with them, but I respect them a lot more if they actually practice what they preach. But here they are flying over there on a private jet. They have helicopters shuttling them back and forth. I saw on Twitter people from the event, journalists and different people like that, are posting pictures of the extravagant things that people are doing over there. They're just so out of touch with reality. And yet they're intent on forcing their agenda on people like you and me, just average, normal people who don't have private jets.
What is their agenda, Mike? I mean, you must have something kind of laid out, A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever they want. But, I mean, what do they want the world to do? Regress? Do they want the world to go back to the horse and buggy days? Do they want the world to go back to just a little plot of earth out in back of the house that's going to raise some potatoes and tomatoes? What do they want?
I don't even know if they've thought it through that far. A lot of what they talk about now, they want to spread the wealth around. They don't want people to... I mean, I'm all for not having poverty, too, but the way to end poverty isn't to take money from wealthy people, and not just wealthy people. It ends up being normal, average, middle-class people that wealth, that money and resources are getting taken from to be passed around. But I think a lot of it is just a power play. They know that things like ending poverty and stopping climate change, if you take that as your issue and you're really gung-ho about it, it makes you look good, like you're trying to save the planet. So for a lot of these people, I think it's not much more than that.
Yeah, but here's where the caveat comes in. I don't trust any one of these people. I think it's a 7-letter word of nothing more than control. Control. They want to control the populaces of the world. And you will control people if you're making them freeze to death. You will control them if you limit their food production. You will limit their transportation. You will control them, and that's what I think they're aiming at.
I absolutely agree with you. It's easier to get people to give up their freedom and be controlled if they think that some terrible calamity is going to befall.
So what do we do? I mean, Mike, we're being led like sheep to slaughter, and we've got a president that is kind of a herdsman for this country, and that's, of course, Obama falling into the abyss of falling along with global climate change. What do we do?
Well, a lot of what we can do, and what we do here at the Media Research Center, we try to point out as much as we can how the media are pushing this agenda for not just our government, but for governments around the world, like they're a PR firm and not an unbiased, neutral media organization. So what we try to do is we try to point that out as often as we can, at least have people know that, hey, there's another side to this story that's not being heard, and maybe you want to hear about it.
We've got a local newspaper right here, Mike.
You shouldn't listen to any climate change deniers, or there's no scientists on the other side, and there are scientists who don't think that humans are causing climate change, and there are economists who don't agree with their view of capitalism either.
We've got a local newspaper with one of the editors on the op-ed page that absolutely thinks that you and I are the crazies. He's one of these kind of people that absolutely thinks that we should all regress in what we do, and there shouldn't be any automobiles, and we shouldn't have any gasoline. We should all live underneath a propeller to help get our power, etc. And this is the kind of regressiveness that I think is not only going to kill America, but it's going to kill the world, and a work ethic, and everybody is going to be controlled by governments. I know I sound radical, but that's the way I feel.
No, I agree with you too. There's on the Earth Day, the Lefty Eco Celebration every year, on their website, they have this little game that I always like to poke fun of every year. But it's how many Earths would you destroy with your lifestyle? And they want you to try to tailor your lifestyle to fit in with this game so that you, if you commute less, you kill less Earths and try to get it all the way down so you're not killing any. But I can't figure out a situation in this game where I can get my little person to not destroy an entire planet. And that's, no matter what you do, it's all about them trying to make you feel guilty. You can't live a life. Even if we all regress back to living in log cabins, I'm sure they'd still find a way we were polluting the environment.
Right. There was a phrase that you had written about in that piece, and I want to repeat it, and I want you to explain it a little bit. And Soros had said that he said in 2010 that we need a global sheriff. That's kind of ominous. Explain what you meant when you repeated that, please.
He said a lot of things that are pretty ominous. His ideal goal, it's a very Orwellian Marxist type of goal that Soros is going for with his global sheriff. He wants an open society where basically everybody has the same things, all speech is regulated, all money is regulated globally, and it's all controlled by a central hub. It sounds very, very terrifying if you actually think about how it would play out. And he's even said that this vision he has for the world wouldn't end well if it was actually played out. Mm-hmm. But he thinks it's something that he has to fight for still, which is a really scary concept because you have this powerful billionaire with influence not just in the U.S. He's got his Open Society Foundation is in dozens of countries all over the world. He's funding tons of things that are affecting lots of different governments. And he has this idea for unifying the world in his open society.
Let me ask you something. Final thought here, Mike. When you take a look at a guy like George Soros that basically has everything that he wants, he's bought and purchased everything he needs, has all the money any person in the world could ever wish for, what's in it for him? Why does he want to push this? Why does he want to hurt people like he is during these kind of episodic events as far as trying to stop people from having any kind of a lifestyle? What's in it for him?
It's all about power and building his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants to, he has this vision and he has the ability to influence the world. And now that he started funding all these groups and influencing and pushing his agenda, I guess he doesn't want to stop.
What is there as far as an alternative? I'm willing to do anything. I'm willing to have anyone on this program. I'm willing to have any segment to keep fighting against people like George Soros and, quite frankly, against people like Barack Obama. But I can't fight it alone. We need a whole bunch of other people. But yet you have newspaper editors like our local one that calls us all kinds of names, etc., trying to diminish us when we fight against this idiocy. What do we do?
Well, the only thing I think we can do, because the newspaper people have the right to say that, just like we have the right to say what we have to say.
That's right.
And the only thing we really can do is get out there and tell people, here are the actual facts. This is why this newspaper is biased. This is why ABC, CBS, and NBC are biased. And here's what they're not telling you. Because they're not just attacking us, they're hiding facts too. It's bias by commission and omission committed right and left in every aspect of the media, from small local papers to the New York Times.
All right. Well, I saw the story this morning about all these different people flying in and enjoying the very elitist lifestyle while they want to try to control the rest of us. And I say kudos to you, Mike Ciandella, for writing this piece. And Mike, you got to promise me anything that comes up about this idiocy and incompetency of climate change and George Soros, you call me and I'll put you on the air right away, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
Hey, God bless you, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, sir. Appreciate it very much. You know, I am sick and tired of having my life be controlled by the likes of George Soros and others. And they believe that they should be a global sheriff and that they should tell us how to live and that they should tell us that we can't go to the neighborhood grocery store and that we can't go to see Aunt Martha and Uncle Fred. We have to live in a cave and we have to live a diminished life while they live the life of an elitist. I would love to poke them in the nose. Can't say it any easier than that. Don't forget your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. They are our major sponsor on this program, and we really, really appreciate them and everything they do. There's 7 wonderful locations right here in the Magic Valley. And for all your tires, whether you need traction tires for the snow, the mud, and the ice and everything, well, they've got them. They've got all the performance tires. They've got all the tires for your driving needs. And also, don't forget, they've got all the batteries. They've got all the tire chains. They've got the best in brake service. Boy, do I know that. And they can just make sure that your driving is a lot safer. You stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Caller real quick. Good morning.
Okay, good morning, Zeb. Wasn't there some revolutions in a couple of countries like Russia and France that had gone through what we're going through right now?
I have said this before on my program, and I've received criticism for the use of the word, but I'm going to say it again. The United States, in order to retain its freedom and its constitution of the greatest country in the world ever, we may have to reconsider that word revolution and apply it to the idiots that are trying to take freedoms away from us.
You're absolutely right, Zeb, and I won't hold you up any longer.
All right, Tony, God bless you, man. Thank you much.
Bye-bye.
I got to get Gina on the line for just a minute. I want to say thank you again. Yesterday I had to make an emergency trip down to Salt Lake City, and I want to say thank you to Sharon and Gina for filling in literally at a moment's notice, and I thank them very much for that. And also, we certainly hope that Gina can make it over to Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant at 11:30. So thank you again.
You are very welcome, and I'm going to hustle buns and see if I can make it.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask your indulgence, and we're going to play a little music as we leave. But before we go, I want to remind everybody that we'll be off naturally for the next couple of days, and then on Monday be back in again at 8:06, and we've got a real great list of guests that are going to be here on the program next week, including our legislative update from the legislative session that's going on up in Boise. Don't miss that. So on behalf of my wife, Deanne, and myself, thank you. God bless you. The way things were or the way things ought to be. We'll see you at Lunch Bunch. Gina, hope you can make it. See you then.